For 1,000 years, the Shriman Empire has waited for a leader worthy of commanding the sand. Hello guys, in this video I'll teach you how to play Azir in a nutshell. I'm not gonna go on extreme depth though, it's just a simple fun guide. Like, I'm not the best Azir out there, I'm currently Hardstack Emerald. But until Mr. Helian decides to finish his guide, we're using my guide. What is Azir? Azir is like waking up, asking for cock and ball torture, and somehow getting something worse. Because Azir is, what if we had an ADC on mid and also AP, while being very flexible itemization wise. Just like how flexible your mind. Jokes aside, Azir is a mid laner, and to some extent a top laner, while being extremely weak on early, but he scales to be a late game carry. He is, depending on how you build him, an auto-attacker champion, while also being a diver thanks to his kit. You can also play him as a burst mage, but at that point, just play Syndra. Ultimately, Azir is a teamfighter who thrives in side lanes because of how quickly he can take towers and how much self-build he has with his ER and passive. This is why he's also being played top. To play Azir is to value gold above all else early, so you can carry late game teamfights and secure objectives. Your success with Azir is ultimately tied to your ability to consistently get gold and how well you use that gold to deal damage. Remember to never die while an objective is up. On another note, Azir suffers from being abused improperly because of how safe his pick is. So Riot will be deep frying Azir every time Worlds is around. Which that means most of the time he'll be slightly or very weaker state than he should be. Azir's kit. Okay, this kit ain't rocket science, but I have to start from W since 80% of your kit cannot be used without your W. You can even level them up. W, your main source of damage. You can charge it up 2 times, and ideally you want to max that first, otherwise you won't be doing any damage to the enemies. Make sure you position your soldiers correctly, cause that's all your damage source you have. All your DPS is on W. Q. With your Q, you cast your soldiers to move to a specific location. If they pass through or hit anyone, they deal damage and slow the enemy. E. With E, you can do 3 different things. First thing is, when you hit an enemy, you deal damage to them, and it also stops your dash. Second thing is that you get a shield while dashing, so you can negate some damage. And third, which is really important, is when you collide with an enemy and you have less than 2 charges on your soldier, you get an additional charge on your soldier. So you can place it down instantly or keep it if you want. Remember all those 3 things about E and trust me, you'll get such a big value out of it. R. I don't know how to describe it, so let me read the wiki for it. Hold on. Call forth a phalanx of soldiers from 175 units behind him, catching enemies from up to 325 units behind him and charging forward. It also knockups enemies and deals damage to them. Well, I hope that explains it. The more upgrades you get on your R, the bigger it is. It's your self-build or all in. And remember, 90% of the times enemies will get their ult first before you do. Passive. You summon a giant fucking tower. It's that simple. The thing I can tell you for sure is you can only summon it where there is a destroyed tower, except the enemy inhibs or Nexus turrets. This ability will go on cooldown after your turret is destroyed for 90 seconds, and the turret should last around 45 seconds. And now for a few simple combos for you to know. W, E, Q to dash to whatever location you want for whatever reason you want. When you are about to arrive to your soldier, press Q to extend your dash range. With that same combo, with just the additional of R, you just do the shuffle combo. One simple poke combo is just W auto attack, Q auto attack, and maybe another auto attack if you hit a great Q. I think that's all the combos you have to know for now. Just make sure you practice them before you just do it on ranked and just fuck up anything.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
Alright, for runes now. For runes, you only go lethal tempo. Yeah, that's it. Nothing more. You just go lethal tempo. 99% of the time. What? Is that not enough for you? You wanna get more information about the runes you can go? Fine. Lethal tempo increases the teamfight DPS and has the best scaling out of all runes. Conk traditionally has very good 1v1 skirmish potential in extended fights, but since of the current bug that it has, it doesn't really work that well. But if it gets fixed, people can start using it again to boost again their mid game and win early extended trades. PTA, bit of an oddball. It's good into early marksman's 1v1, but it doesn't scale as well as lethal tempo does. I will only use that rune if I use the ignite, otherwise I don't see any particular reason to go for it. Electrocute and Hob. I'm putting those together, those runes, since they are both for burst Azir. Hob has better scaling, and Electrocute has good burst but fall-offs really hard. Both suffer from requiring more spell cast to use properly but don't have any mana runes, so you kinda need mana items or clever use of your tempo for resets is quite important with those runes. Airy. Airy is for cheap poke, like there's nothing much more into it. You could use Comet, but you don't proc it with your auto attack, so it's not as good as it used to be anymore. First Strike. Lethal tempo gives more value for like the small gold amount you get out of that rune. It only really helps if you wanna reach slightly faster on the item spikes with Azir. It really helps if you know though that you're gonna win the lane anyways. But if you wanna be a rich millionaire, that's the best rune for you to go. Ideally, if you're learning Azir, the best rune to go is Lethal Tempo. All of his runes are really good if you feel comfortable on them, but ideally since he's an auto attacker, you wanna prefer to go towards Lethal Tempo. Atomization. Not much to say here since atomization is complex. We'll add that if ahead, build defensive, especially Merc Tabis if you have feat of strength, as they are way too strong. If behind, build damage, flat pen to snowball, percent pen to scale from behind. There is plenty ways to atomize with Azir. Core is Nasus, ideally for like 99% of the games. Rest items you can go is Shadowflame, Deathcap, Liandry's Void or AP Cleaver. And Rallies if you are a freak. You can build it if you want, I'm just letting you know that you are a freak if you do it. It's not a necessarily bad item, just so you know. Other items you can go are the like generic mage items like Zonia's, Banshee, Horizon, basically anything you want. Azir is extremely flexible, so you can cook whatever you want. Sky is the limit for you. But if you wanna follow a specific path, here's one. Nashor's, Shadowflame, Deathcap, AP Cleaver, Zonia's. Ideally, if you space properly, you can go kinda more squishier, but if you are worried about being eaten alive, you can go a little bit tankier with HP items, like Liandry second. About the boots, the thing that I said at the start still holds really well, but if you wanna know another thing is that if you get Feat of Strength, you can go Sorcery, if you don't, you can go Attack Speed boots. Matchups. I'm not gonna really talk much about matchups since it really depends on your skill anyways. It really depends on how good you are and how good the enemy is. Definitely the worst matchup is LeBlanc, Xerath, Zoe and maybe Irelia for some. But I really despise LeBlanc matchup. It's so annoying. I hate that champion. I hate facing it. So I suggest you to perma-ban LeBlanc every time you play Azir. There is like two playstyles that you can have on Azir. One is AFK farming, and the other is the big balls Emperor that's pretty aggressive and fights. It's really important to know when to use each one of them, because you cannot always be very aggressive on every matchup, because you might get punished. For example, LeBlanc or Sylas or Irelia. You need to like sometimes be an AFK bird. If you want to play aggressive, you have to bait abilities. Otherwise you won't be able to trade, since Azir needs long fights to trade back, because he's not a burst mage early, he doesn't have the burst damage compared to most of the mid lane roster. Every time you auto attack an enemy, you basically cough on them. It's not something big, so if they like hit you back, they're just gonna delete most of your HP, so you need to like bait an ability, dodge it, and then do damage to them. And for top lane Azir, you need to be careful of your wave management, spacing, and the fact that you are much less safer compared to mid lane, since the towers are much further away. And before we finish, for people who want to watch content creators who play Azir, I can give you a few suggestions. One of the content creators I could suggest is Elderwood. He's an extremely good high-elo Azir on Korea. And the other content creator I could suggest is Mr. Hillian, which he uploads every once when it rains in a desert. So good luck with him. But you could also watch me when I post Azir content if you really like me. But to end it here, I think that sums everything up. Hopefully me, the Heartstack Emerald, was able to make you feel more understanding of how to play Azir. And if you like a more detailed version of it, maybe I'll try to see if I can make one. Or otherwise we have to wait for Mr. Hillian to upload his. Otherwise, thanks for watching and see you next time.